Today we have a keycap showdown, showcase, whatever, featuring the matcha latte keycaps. To set the stage, this is a more budget-oriented keycap set at $65 plus domestic shipping. It's that sweet sub $100 price point that most people coming into the hobby will appreciate. Novelkeys sells these keycaps and are sponsoring this showcase, but they implored me to run these head-to-head versus the other available options, so my opinion is always my own. Price-wise, with the other options, we have Cherry PBT from Novelkeys for $95, PBT fans for $75, $95, or $115, depending on the kit. XMI for $65 to $69. But there's a lot of shipping there. There's plenty of other options, so please don't buy clones. We have DCX at $90 to $99 from Drop. We have OTC from Omnitype for $89. And honestly, the best deal is to wait for vendors who are stuck with too much inventory and they'll sell the GMK extras for $99, which has happened before. I'm waiting for GMK Striker hit $99. Novelkeys Matcha Latte is a more perfect shade for the pastel colorway. The keycaps are not white, but are more cream. The legending is not so light that's hard to read. They do hit the matcha vibe in my eyes. The font is different. It is more minimal. We have icons for mods, which I do prefer right here. Looking up close, I do not see many inconsistencies unless you nitpick. Like maybe the arrows are not in the perfect spot. There aren't any huge glaring issues such as icons or legends being too close to the edge. Thickness is the same as GMK at 1.5 millimeters. As a reminder, PBT is often deeper in sound than GMK. GMK has that poppy sound if that's what you're after. Here we have JWK style switches, PC top, 9-line bottom. We have an aluminum plate. We have case silicone because the QK65 here is a little hollow without some kind of help. And we have the Novelkeys Matcha Latte keycaps. Take a listen. That's a pretty nice sound to me. The keycaps are dye sublimated. The legends aren't rubbing off, okay? That's pad printed. With the price, $65, you do get a pretty full base kit, but you do not get split spacebar or Alice support, which is odd because they included an extra beat. There are no novelties, which is kind of expected for this price. They are cherry profile, so it's very familiar to those who are used to more common keycaps such as EPBT, CRP, JTK, XMI, and GMK. When comparing to those other keycaps, GMK is the gold standard for bright colors and consistent legends usually. The font used here is a little bit less thick than GMK, so it may look off to you. A little bit more minimal, a little cleaner. When compared to XMI V3, those are definitely a budget option. I think if some guy makes it in his garage with a machine, the legends are really off there if you look up close. It's hard to compare to GMK. XMI V3, being that XMI is close to the price of the Novelkeys Matcha Latte keycaps, they do seem to have split bars, so you can actually use it with an Alice style keyboard. XMI V2 is thicker than XMI V3, so that's where you want to go for the deep thunk. But with that deep thunk, you often find yourself with a thuddy and boring spacebar. So there is such thing as too deep. Often people use a GMK spacebar or ABS spacebar with their CRP or XMI sets so they get their poppy spacebar sound because, you know, it's kind of boring if it's just thud, thud, thud. And if you go with the XMI CRP sets, the drawback is usually that they're locked to beige. And beige gets boring, fight me. So here we take a step into the dark side. We have clone GMK Taro. In these photos, we're comparing it with Cherry Taro from Novelkeys, and honestly, Cherry Taro and Novelkeys is almost 1-to-1 in colors. I couldn't really tell the difference in my eyes, even though I'm not like a designer by any means. I'm just a guy who just buys a bunch of plastic. You can actually tell that the Fugazi Taro is a little Fugazi. So here we have NK Taro on the left and fake Taro on the right. Here you can see the saturation and the pop of the colors of NK Taro. You see this is a little bit more pastel over here, but still bright, whereas the fake Taro, it's a more muted yellow, it's more muted teal, and a darker purple. And you can see here it's a really tiny pound sign, and the 3 is cursive. That's cursive. Put it into bright light, you can really see the differences here. The teal over here is almost green. I mean, it's not really teal, it's like a cyan bluish, but it's not right. Here we're looking at the legends. This H is probably okay, but it's too close to the top. And you look at this tab, it's smaller. It doesn't fill the keycap like the real one. And the shift is just gone. It's given up on life. This backspace is probably okay. It's just a little different. The caps lock is not in the center. Oh, honestly, the GMK isn't either. And the control is too high. Here's in natural lighting. Here the purples aren't too far from each other, but you can see here the backspace lettering is just not full, and you can see caps lock and control.
it looks kind of half-assed.
It's just not perfect, all right? Yes, it's most of the way there, and yes, it's a way cheaper price. If you don't care, then you don't care. I don't care, that you don't care. If you don't care, then you don't care. I'm not your father, but you can call me daddy. I'm just kidding. Please stop DMing me this. I'm gonna get in trouble with my wife. You can use whatever you like. It's your money, but I personally stand against clones, and I will make the point that they are not exactly the same. They're close. I know. The real thing can sometimes be prohibitively expensive, especially those rare sets that are pushed by weebs like Darling and Frostwitch and even Mizu. But there's plenty of other options, such as this one right here, the Invokeys Matcha Latte keycaps, and they can be just as viable and make you just as happy. So for the price, the value of Invokeys is hard to beat. It's a good start. Honestly, it was a really easy set with just cream alphas and some green for the mods. I hope to see that they get more adventurous with their colors in the future. More competitions, more options is good for us. Also, they have a promotion during the holidays, free custom desk mat with every order, so check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace.